The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello there, welcome to the weekly update on the Square Ball. You'll find this in your podcast app for your ears and for your eyes on YouTube as well. It's brought to you with Levi Solicitors, who will offer you a 10% discount on. Dean, do you want to do the performance?
Yeah, what do you want to know about?
Their services, their full range of services that you can get a 10% discount on your legal fees, please.
We've got wills, probate and conveyancing. We've got lasting powers of attorney. We've got professional negligence, disputes, care home fees. All of this is covered by the good people over there at Levi Solicitors.
You've already surpassed Normanton, who is in his recovery bed right now, because you actually had the webpage open.
I've been doing a couple of weeks worth of prep, just kind of getting into the headspace of a lawyer, trying to give a good read for these guys.
Yeah, good. And I thought you executed it really, really well. And
thank you.
Professionally. So we'll move on from that and say full details and terms on the website, levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. I mean, by doing that, you're effectively doing what Dean just did, which is opening a website and reading about what they do.
Yeah, so?
Just remember to mention us, that's all, on the way through. Yeah, it's Dan, it's Dean, and it's Rob on the update. Dan James, not completely broken, hopefully. There's been a rumour gurgling around, circulating, suggesting that he might be. We'll address that in a second or two. Sean Longstaff, possibly a thread to pull on here as well, were bollocking the players in the huddle on the pitch after, was it the first goal?
It was, yes.
Yeah, for being basically too respectful of Bournemouth in that game at the weekend. A game that's left us, are we still 12th or thereabouts, 8 points after 6 games, and we could well easily be up with where Sunderland are in the sort of top 3 or 4. We should really be in the top 6 with 11 points at this stage.
Yeah, are we good?
I think we might be all right.
I think so. I think we sort of touched on it slightly in the match ball extra time after the weekend's game, talking about Iraola and how, we were praising him far too much on the match ball itself, but we were saying how that's him after 2 years of Premier League investment with the Bournemouth team. And in a parallel universe, he might have been doing that with Leeds, but actually Daniel Farke's Leeds, making his 3rd team in 3 years, actually held their own, more than held their own. And it feels like a really good proof of concept for what Farke's going on, I feel like. Yeah,
and it feels like he's really adapted, I think, to the Premier League quite well, on the basis that I think he adapted his method when he was at Norwich, didn't he, between the first and the second laps around the track. But you saw then, when you've got no investment, what the net result is, which is you just go down with a whimper. And he got fired, didn't he, obviously, second time around. And there is a long way to go still in this season, but all the signs are encouraging so far. I think we've got to be careful not to be premature because, we've had a good run so far. There may well be a time when we have a not so good run, and it all sort of levels out. But it bodes well enough for me to feel, as I said on the West Ham with Graham, I feel quite encouraged and quite positive by this season. And I can see, as I said to Graham, I can see the route to us staying up if we do.
Yeah.
You can see what it's going to look like.
And, you're saying there kind of not to get ahead of ourselves, which is correct, but you can only go on the evidence of your eyes. And after 6 games, you can see what we're trying to do. You can see it working for the most part. Arsenal maybe aside. And I think the thing that's maybe the most encouraging for me is in the pre-season when we were signing the likes of Longstaff, the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I'd be getting text messages from mates of mine who support other clubs like fucking Sheffield Wednesday, by the way. The audacity of this text that
are they still going? Just
I think so.
Yeah.
But he's like,
they're not paying that. I just want to say, because it's the end of the pay month, and I would not like to make light of people not being paid their wages, but from a football point of view,
pay your people.
The fact that they're still they're under like 5 different embargoes now for, once again, not providing financial information, not paying people on time.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But these texts being like basically laughing at me, saying, this is look at your marquee signing, Sean Longstaff. But Longstaff and Calvert-Lewin make total sense in this first 6 games, or however long they've been on the pitch. They didn't start the first few. Make total sense in the Premier League, getting about physicality, and it's fun. It feels fun to watch. It doesn't feel like a grind. And playing against Bournemouth, I was scared. I was terrified. They've got some great players. They've got a lot to like about them. But it was great just to get them to Ellen Road and get Ampadu to kick a few of them.
I think what you said at the start there about, you can only go on the evidence of what you see with your eyes, and it does pass the eye test.
Yeah.
Like, they're fun. I enjoy watching it. And it was not that long ago I was listening back to a few podcasts from the dark days of our relegation season, partly because I'm miserable, but partly just because you want to see if you're like consistent with your criticism and things like that. And
Oh God, I can't. Did you go back and listen?
occasionally, just sometimes it's nice to hear when things are worse. Like after the Gabby Goodmanson own goal, it's
This is a fascinating insight into your
my misery.
into your brain. Yeah, Rob.
I don't want to be. I'd rather not think about Gabby Goodmanson and his poor 50p head. I'd rather think about being angry at other things. But yeah, and it was interesting that after those games, Marsh would be coming out and saying, "Well, we've got look at the XG and stuff like that." And in those podcasts, we're like, "Yeah, but just look at the eye test. It doesn't pass it. It's all bollocks. We can see that with our own eyes."
Yeah, you're right. Actually, one of the discussions I had with Graham was about us not getting cut open, and we kind of laughed around the idea that we did against Wolves. But it feels like, I mean, again, I'm setting Arsenal completely aside because it was an aberration. It is what it is. You know, they're obviously very good. You saw what they did to Newcastle at the weekend. They're just horrible, aren't they? Just horrible set of bastards. And we experienced that in the worst way. But nobody seems to be kind of cutting us open and absolutely running amok. Whereas it always felt like in the last relegation season and under Marsh, you could just see the gaping holes in the pitch. Like if somebody switches this ball to the other side of the pitch, we are in real bother here. And they have done. Or they just take it down that side, and their better players would beat our inferior players and just cross it to the back post. And we've been beaten again.
And it's nice to be a part of a promoted three that are holding their own a little bit better, because it will presumably send a few shockwaves, a few messages to those teams in the Premier League who've been shit for a while. Wolves still can't buy a win. West Ham got a point last night as we record, but it's good. It's a good start. Evidence of our eyes says this is fun as well, and there's just something nice about Leeds United getting stuck in.
Do you know it's being competitive, isn't it? It's being competitive rather than just gurgling around the plug hole and waiting to go down, as was the case with the 3 promoted teams last year.
I was just about to say, you can see how knackered they are when either they come off or they finish the game.
Yeah,
because they're putting everything into it and they are competing. And admittedly, that's probably cost us in a few games, because maybe if we'd have been a bit less tired towards the end, we might have held on to a couple more results. But I'm enjoying seeing them work so hard.
Yeah. And it is the bare minimum. I think there's a little bit of a myth around that idea, isn't there? That as long as Leeds United put everything into it, then the crowd will love it. Doesn't matter how good we are. Not necessarily true. I think if we were putting everything into it and still getting run all over every week, people won't enjoy it for very long. It's the fact that the hard work is bearing a bit of fruit in terms of the results, which could have been better, actually. Switching off against Bournemouth, the strange occurrence of Gabby Goodmanson's head at Fulham, and barring those two things, we could have been higher up. You could take Everton out of it, I suppose, the other way around. Fortune went in our favour there, but I think it feels like about a fairish return for where we are. Maybe given a point or two extra, something like that.
It does, and long may it continue, because there will be stretches of this season where it is harder to watch, and there'll be stretches in this season where the results are falling even further away from where we want them to be, like going into the 93rd minute, 2-1 up, and coming away with just a point. It stings, because that's football. But we were saying on the match ball after the Fulham game that, because there was a lot of people who were really upset about that, which I get, I understand, but we're in this for 38 games and it's going to be a slog. It's supposed to be a slog. Even that first season under Bielsa, when we finished 9th, for a lot of that, it felt precarious, and we just have to keep reminding ourselves, and this is not me talking to the Leeds United fan base, this is me talking to me, keep reminding yourself that this is going to be a tough season, and it is meant to be, because it's a big step up.
Speaking of Fulham, our record is identical to theirs, give or take. A goal here or there.
Just don't shit the bed.
Don't shit
it's
the
good
bed.
Life advice. Not just for Leeds United, for everyone.
In all sorts of walks of life.
And literally speaking as well, try not to shit the bed. Don't
shit the bed. What do you think of Sean Longstaff's comments in the huddle, where he's saying to the players, don't be too respectful? It doesn't matter whether these are Championship or Premier League players, don't be too respectful of them. Were we perhaps guilty of that a little bit, do you think, on Saturday early doors? I think we were, until we sort of felt our way into that game.
I think we were as well. I think I certainly felt it in the crowd as well. There was moments where I was like, oh shit, these are really good. Because up until the weekend, Bournemouth had never got a point in the league at Ellen Road. And so you kind of, muscle memory kicks in and you go, oh, this lot of shit. But they're not. They're really well drilled. Evan Ilson was getting the ball and just dribbling
like those
days.
I was going to say those half turns again. I think possibly because of the fact that Iraola is a Bielsa disciple, kind of drew our focus a little bit on Saturday night, and because we'd gone in for him, it added that extra frisson of excitement, didn't it, and comparison. But you saw him kind of dropping in for the ball and then spinning against the defenders on the half turn. And you're like, yeah, I recognise this. Yeah. I see where, the coaching being passed down the generations, if you like. And he was good at that. He was really good at that.
Yeah, I remember seeing their team coming out thinking, fucking hell, Semenyo, Kluivert, these are all of them, all 12 of them. These are good players.
Yeah.
And I think it took the crowd a little bit of time to realise that we were able to get a foot in and compete. And, Struijk was hitting the ball out. Ampadu was selling Darlow a bit short on a couple of occasions. But then I think it probably took Longstaff, an old head in the Premier League, to go, yeah, what are we doing here? We're at home, we're Leeds United.
It's interesting it was Longstaff as well, because you go back to his full debut at Sheffield Wednesday and he was pretty timid, and we were saying after that night, that team just seemed to be completely crying out for personality. And he was a part of it that night, and you see him now and he just seems to be completely blossoming in central midfield, where he does everything. He's tackling everyone, he's running everywhere, he's scoring brilliant goals, he's taking good corners. It's like, I don't know where this has come from, but keep doing it. I really enjoy it.
Maybe it just took him a few weeks to settle in and just get bedded into the side. You forget these are still young men who are going into a new work environment for him that's, he's been at Newcastle since he was a wee bairn, as they would say. And to come into this new place, to be able to sort of grab this one by the balls almost, if you like, it takes a little bit of time to feel comfortable enough to do that, I suppose.
Well, I'd not noticed the huddle at the time I was watching the game back, and it's really noticeable that Joe Rodon runs off celebrating to Longstaff, who obviously took the corner, and Longstaff's like, no, shut up, get everyone here, stop celebrating. You can see Rodon's a bit like, oh, come on.
And it's interesting as well, because this does feed back into what we understand was part of the recruitment process as well. They were looking at people who'd been leaders or vice captains or were well established at their existing clubs. So again, if he's stepping up to that role already as kind of, like you say, senior voice in the dressing room, good.
Really good.
You can't imagine Mark Rocker doing that the last time, can you?
No. He didn't care enough. I think that's the thing about these players. Again, tiny evidence pool, 6 games, and the atrocity down at Sheffield Wednesday. But what I think we're seeing is that fight again. And it's just good. And I told you guys off air before we started recording, I had a dream on Sunday night that Sean Longstaff got in the England team.
Right.
So I'm just projecting this into his future.
What I will say is, I look down the fixtures now, and on the basis of what we did to Bournemouth, I'm looking forward to the Spurs game now. Yeah. I think if I'd have looked at a set of fixtures ahead of the season starting, and I compared it to what we experienced last time, I've got nothing but fairly bad memories of Spurs games due to relegation, Bielsa getting sacked. And actually, you saw Wolves go down there and give them a bit of a going over, actually, and we saw how poor Wolves were prior to that. So it's not, the quality in this division is not necessarily linear when you factor in different sort of styles. And I'm hopeful that maybe our more up in your face attritional style, perhaps it rubs them up the wrong way. Undoubtedly a quality side with some quality players in it, but we seem to have in most cases been able to level the playing field this season. So at least we can carry that hope into the game, even if it doesn't quite play out. And we are going to lose some games at home this season, but at least we can go into this one and think, you know what? Yeah, we're in with a shout.
We are, without Dan James though, very probably.
Yeah, well, we'll have a quick chat about him in just a second, just to quickly round up some of the other teams in this world. The 21s, they won 1-0 at home to Norwich, which was a goal from Johnny Douglas. Any relation?
Connor Douglas.
Right, 36 minutes. 3 wins from 5, which bodes really well. They're 9th out of the 29 teams in Premier League 2, which is done on it's like the Swiss League system, isn't it? Is it a bit like the Champions League kind of?
It's some daft. Is it like top 16 playoffs or something weird like that?
Stupid. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
And anyway, we beat Sporting Lisbon, because of course we did 2-1 last week. That was a stoppage time winner as well. So actually, we've been on the receiving end of a few of those in the first team, but at least the 21s are getting some late winners, and that's part of the Premier League International Tournament or something, isn't it? That.
Yeah, European football in York. I'm quite tempted to go to one of these games because it just sounds fun.
Who else have we got?
Do we play at Dortmund as well or something? Let me just have a look here. But yeah, there's some good fixtures. It's just a shame.
Was it the case that I saw a tweet, somebody saying that there was like a sole Sporting Lisbon fan had journeyed to to York. I don't know whether they actually come from Portugal or whether they just happened to be in this country or whatever, but went to watch their 21s, just sat there on his own.
Yeah, we play Dortmund. We play Anderlecht, proper Champions League throwback.
Oh, yeah.
We play Athletic Bilbao. Oh, well, you're not really meant to call them that, are you? Athletic Club. That's a good one. Nice Bielsa reunion. So, yeah, some good fixtures there. Get them at Ellen Road. It loads better.
Yes. The women won 5-2 away at York City Ladies in the FAWNL Cup as well. Hull City in the next round. Yeah, that league is proving a bit of a mission to get out of still because of the 12 teams one up situation. But we'll keep an eye on that across the season. Yeah.
They did win 7-0 the previous week, so their games are very fun to watch. And we've got a piece in the new magazine, which I'm holding up on the video right now, from Paddy Gunn on the women's team. Making some good points about them and where they sit in this Leeds United organisation and asking when the club will actually sort of give them the tools to prosper.
Yeah, he's spoken to the manager as well, hasn't he? So.
He has, yeah. That sort of informed the whole piece. He chatted to Simon Wood a little bit as well.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, have a read of that. You can buy that online, thesquareball.net. And if you're a subscriber, you can, TSB Plus subscriber, you can download that and have a read on your device. Yeah, Dan James. So the rumour was that he'd done his ACL and was going to be out for a long time. This had sort of, a couple of people messaged me actually. This had been swirling around last night, so that's Monday night as we record. It seems to be that maybe it's about 6 weeks, worst case scenario, if the information that's coming through today is correct. But it's wait and see with these things, isn't it? So weeks, not months.
Yeah, I don't know. What at the weekend when Tanaka came on and gave away a free kick, didn't go very well. It's all very good in hindsight. If we'd won that game 2-1, we wouldn't be talking like this. But did we need James then? And will we miss him for 6 weeks? I think the answer has to be yes. It's good news that it's not going to be months and months and months if it was a terrible injury. But I think even though he hasn't started the season very well, I still think we miss him.
Yeah, definitely. He's a good footballer.
Yeah.
Full
stop.
Like you say, it's maybe a bit of a slow start to the season. Injury's not helped. But yeah, he can be a great weapon on that right wing. And I think you're completely right. If he probably was a bit fitter at the weekend, I'd have loved to have seen him on with about 20 minutes to go because he has that work rate. He has that threat on the break with his pace. And we didn't sign anyone else, which is a problem. And we have just given him a new contract, so he's on the Bamford curve officially. We've broken him.
But again, PSR. So the last £5 million of amortisation in his contract will now, rather than it all going this year, is being spread over the remainder of his new contract.
I can't wait for you to bring that up when we're lumbered with him for the next 5 years and he never plays again.
It's a good thing now, Rob. But he'll come back to me in 3 years when when
we're paying him off.
He hasn't played for 3 years. No, bless him. I love Dan James, and I hope he gets on the mend soon. I suppose the small mercy here is that there are 2 international breaks in the next 6 weeks, so hopefully it won't be too impactful in terms of games missed.
He might be involved in one of them because Wales have still called him up.
Right. Okay. Is he expected to turn up for that to verify that he's knackered? I suppose he'll have to.
He might be a mascot.
Right.
They turn up looking like the mummy or something.
Yeah. He might be a mascot. He might just hold Joe Rodon's hand out to the centre.
But 6 weeks takes us through Spurs at home, Burnley away, West Ham at home, Brighton away, and then Forest away. And then you're into the November break before we host Villa.
It is a real shame because there are points to be had in all 5 of those games, I would argue. And you just want him. You want him as an option there. And does this throw into a different light the letting go of Ramazani as well?
I don't think Farke particularly trusted Ramazani
with anything
as a football. Well, I think if you look at how we're playing this year, and I know like the criticism of like Farke's football is the risk averse nature of it, but I suppose at this level, I think people are adjusting to the idea that you need to be a bit more risk averse. Kind of pick your moments. We've seen it in the way that Bogle goes forward. That's a lot more kind of selective now, rather than him just being up there and bombing on as an additional winger every time. He's picking his moments, and he only does it on occasion. So it makes sense to me in that sense that I think Ramazani tended to maybe not perhaps do the defensive work or lost the ball too many times. The only problem with that is that Okafor also loses the ball quite a lot. So I don't know. I think there's definitely an argument for it both ways. Not both ways. I can see the sense in him not necessarily being trusted at the minute, but also he's a He's a difference maker. So, yeah, I don't know.
I hate that phrase. I'm fucking fed up of hearing the phrase difference maker in the last 4 weeks. I know what you're getting at.
But doesn't it feel to you like in the Premier League, there's so much of it's equal, and actually you just need somebody with a bit of stardust to turn a game. Yeah. And he's got that. It's just, can you accommodate it? I suspect Farke just doesn't fancy him. It's probably about as basic as it is.
I mean, I'm just a bit bored of chatting about Ramazani, I must admit. It's like he was the 4th choice winger last season in a team that won 100 points and scored loads of goals. And yeah, he's really exciting, and I think he's talented. But, in theory, we signed a better guy in Okafor, whether he is or not. We will find out. It feels a little bit like we've kind of accidentally loaned him out in the same way we did with Dan James and expected to get someone else in. The fact we didn't isn't his fault. It's not Farke's fault. Let's just crack on.
Yeah, and do you wonder, do they fear maybe that Ramazani, only being small, could get bullied in the Premier League a little bit, whereas someone like Okafor might be more effective because he's bigger and more physical?
Maybe. I mean, we retained James and Nonto.
Noted big lad.
Noted big fellas. Yeah. On Nonto, do we know when he's back? Because if James is out for 6 weeks, we could do with Willie.
He's meant to be back in training this week.
Right.
And should be a topic, as Daniel Farke likes to say, for this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good to have him. That would be good to have him back in.
Yeah, because the attacking options at the weekend, it was a bit threadbare, given Dan James didn't seem to be trusted to come on.
We've made it this far without using the words Brendan Aaronson.
Who?
Hard to know whether he was the worst player on the pitch or man of the match, according to the TSB Plus ratings that came in from the weekend. I feel a bit sorry for Aaronson sometimes,
Yeah, we were talking before, Rob, you said, and you're absolutely right, there's kind of nothing ever new to say about Brendan Aaronson. We all know what he is. We know what he does.
What his limitations are.
What his strengths are.
Yeah.
And it was all evident again against Bournemouth. For my opinion, I thought he did all right.
Yeah, he was all right.
He was Aaronson.
It was, I mean, he did have some nicer moments than usual. He had some frustrating moments as usual. He did a nice overhead kick cross, which Calvert-Lewin should have scored from. But yeah, he's actually a really boring player to chat about because, like you say, we know he works really hard. He's very, very valuable in that sense. We know his limitations on the ball. I actually thought, watching the game back, either he is getting used to, or the team around him are getting used to him sort of drifting in on the right wing, and some of the pockets of space he's finding as kind of a quasi number 10. So yeah, hopefully that keeps improving and he runs his bollocks off. So good on you.
Yeah. Do you get a lot out of? Do you watch like the full 90 back, and do you get a lot out of doing that, or do you watch highlights?
I watched the full 90 back for this one. It's in my match report how I was writing how sometimes it's good to just write straight away with like the initial emotion and adrenaline from the game and just how you felt at the time. But then that game, because it was so mad, I felt like I needed to watch it back to work out what the hell had happened. And I'm still kind of none the wiser having watched it back. But I think I might prefer it that way. It's more fun.
Right. Well, find the match report at thesquareball.net. Thank you to our TSB Plus members who fed back with their ratings out of 10 for the team. No surprises that Sean Longstaff came out of this as man of the match at the weekend with 8.58, average score out of 10. Rodon and Goodmanson second and third with scores above 8. Bringing up the rear, Darlow, Okafor, Aaronson, Stack. And then you've got Ampadu and Calvert-Lewin somewhere in the middle. Subs, again, tend to score relatively low. But Jack Harrison actually did all right for a sub there, coming out with 6.59 out of 6. Poor baby Outanaka, under 5.
Yeah.
He was only on for a couple of minutes, and he kind of cost us. So
a little bit. I mean, it's skewed by the 2 times he kind of got possession. He didn't really, he didn't use it. And then the second time, gave away the free kick that led to the goal.
Goes back to the conversation we had, I suppose, which is, it's a chicken and egg thing about building up minutes, isn't it? You're not going to get up to the speed of the Premier League without the minutes, but if they put you in without the minutes in your legs, you can sometimes get caught. So I suppose they just got to tease that out of him very gradually. Farke himself, 6.58 out of 10.
Yeah.
And then dickhead ref Michael Oliver, 3.63 out of 10.
He was doing my head in at the weekend.
Very, very picky on fouls, wasn't he?
Such a Premier League ref performance.
Both ways.
Oh yeah. There was various fouls that we were getting given in our favour, and I was thinking, there's no way on fucking earth that is a foul.
But he was giving every time, Rob, wasn't he? Is there any sort of touch in the back, go down, get free kick.
Yeah.
And everybody on both sides knew it, and every time that happened, somebody got a free kick. And obviously he gave the free kick that led to Bournemouth's first goal.
Yeah, I think the problem is, though, as well, is that when he doesn't then give a free kick for that, everyone's losing the shit. But yeah, I was watching the game back. I really enjoyed the moment when he was explaining to Sean Longstaff why the VAR was checking his brilliant goal to put us 2-1 up. You can see that as soon as he finishes explaining to Sean Longstaff, he just goes, "Fuck off."
Which does feel like, I mean, like, it's a thankless task being a referee, but just be better at it.
Yeah, be better.
Yeah. Right, so we'll feed all that data into the TSB supercomputer as we pick our hero and villain of the week. First of all, we'll do the Ken Bates Villain of the Week award. Then we will pick the Gaetano Berardi Hero of the Week award. Also to factor in the likes and dislikes that have been sent into us from that game, some little comedy angles, maybe stuff we didn't spot. Or just a nice way of putting things. What have we got from this week's feedback?
Well, dislikes straight away from Timbo, taking Brendy off. I think he's maybe assimilating that to the equaliser.
I mean, the very next dislike from Dan James Platform Shoes, Brendy, dearie me, he's even a shit inanimate object.
And there it is, isn't it?
That's the paradox.
He wasn't shit. He's just Brendan Aaronson. He's limited in what he can do, sometimes in possession, but God, he does the work out of it. And he was involved in creative stuff. And then he was also involved in creative stuff where the pass didn't go heavily enough because he can't pass.
I did feel sorry for him on the Bournemouth first goal where he was obviously the draft excluder and just not long enough. And then the ball goes into the net and you see Joe Rodon and Pascal Strout turn around to berate him. It's like, "Brendan, why aren't your legs any longer?" And it's like, what am I meant to do?
I wasn't even looking. I'm looking the other way.
I suspect maybe that the placement of said draft excluder was not quite right there.
Yeah, it's probably Darlow's fault.
Mm.
As much as you don't like the phrase difference maker, I like the phrase draft excluder for human beings.
Brendan Aaronson is one of those.
Yeah, he is. There's another dislike here from Chris is not disappointed, saying Tyler Adams, the little bitch. He turned into more of a pantomime villain than I was expecting. I thought people would largely just ignore him.
No, I thought that went exactly as I expected.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought he'd get involved in some sort of contretemps on the field because he can't help himself because he thinks he's got a bit of dog in him, and it would wind the crowd up in a good way. And it all happened. Yeah,
he's a little ratty player, isn't he? It was nice he got injured towards the end as well. So, yeah, good. It was that little tackle he did on Stack after the whistle had gone. It was quite sly, that, actually.
Naughty, yeah.
And I enjoyed that Longstaff was straight over to him.
Mm.
Yeah, I enjoyed the fact that multiple players were all over to him, and I enjoyed a great deal that Ampadu left that one on him when he was in the air when he hit him.
Excellent,
yeah. It's a sort of petty physical bullshit we want to see.
And it's the sort of thing that as the ball's up in the air, I'm thinking Ampadu's probably thinking, I've got an absolute freebie for a cheer from the crowd here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He just reads the crowd going, all right, they hate him. I'm gonna have him.
Yeah.
Bang.
Ampadu's got form for that as well. It was in one of his early Wales appearances. We have it on the blog somewhere, but this big shithouse striker, I think we've subsequently been linked with, but he sort of did a really naughty challenge on him. And Ampadu at 17 or whatever, it's like, just you wait. Next time you get the ball. And he did exactly the same as what he did against Tyler Adams.
Love it.
Yeah, Adam B did like Brendy, running around with the reckless energy of a 5-year-old at a soft play area, fueled entirely by Haribo and fruit shoots. Exactly. That's the good side of it, isn't it?
Yeah, another like here from Chris Milner. Goodmanson perfecting his break dancing.
On the other side of the fence, Ben says, poor Longstaff, he must be doubly annoyed. His cracking goal wasn't a winner, and Durham Cricket collapsed against Yorkshire at Headingley and got themselves relegated when all they needed to do was draw. Rob, I'll defer to you on Leeds Rhinos here. You actually didn't go to that game, did you? You were going to do, but didn't?
Thankfully not. Yeah, talking of collapses at Headingley, that was, and terrible officials, that was it. All rolled into one. But yeah, I was at a gig on Saturday night, and I'd left the gig, checked my phone. Leeds were 12-6 up. I thought, all right, that's fine. Got in a taxi. They were 14-6 up. Thought, cool, nearly there. Got home. They'd blown it in the last second. I thought, thank God. I did watch the game back the next day.
Twice in one day.
I know, yeah. Remarkable, isn't it?
Absolutely remarkable.
Interesting dislike from Sam here, saying, no one really pissed me off, just fucking conceding last minute. Bastards, all of them.
That's it. That's the feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is the feeling. That is the feeling.
And having watched that equaliser back, I can't really pick on any one player to be like, that was definitely you. It just felt like a collective, slight taking the eye off ball, slight lax moment.
What you're saying is, it's not fair.
It's not fair that there are teams in the Premier League who are really good to be able to take a good free kick, good knockdown, good finish.
It's a really good finish, isn't it? That was the thing that annoyed me watching it back. I was like, shit.
That isn't fair. Just be worse.
His body shape there was just gorgeous.
I don't even know who you are.
For us,
some random teenager. Christ.
I didn't like that he gave it the big one to the cheese wedge and took his shirt off. Know your place.
Dan James, Platform Shoes, also some shots fired in the direction of Iraola here. Us for busting the myth that Iraola is even vaguely comparable to Bielsa. Moron journalists led me to believe Bournemouth are the second coming. Guess what? They're just as shit as us. Have that, you pound shop Bielsa.
Nice.
Which is, yeah, fair, fair enough.
Trying to work out if he's praising Leeds there or doing us down. Or...
I think he just wants to see everything burned as Dan James platform shoes.
I mean, which is exactly how you feel when you concede a last-minute goal like that. So fair enough, all very understandable. Any more from those, or shall we start handing out the awards?
Well, just talking of Bournemouth celebrations, Kicking Tanaka's got very upset by Semenyo and his apparent diplomatic immunity from getting a booking. Oh, and his 9 celebrations for his shit goal. Fucking cockwomble. So he's clearly not bothered. Kicking Tanaka's there.
No, that's all the pettiness rolled into one. Right, the Ken Bates Villain of the Week awards. Who's it going to be? The person who has given you the most misery in the last 7 days.
I mean, he's not giving me misery, but Tyler Adams was the pantomime villain.
Yeah.
And I think he might be personally hurt by Leeds fans not liking him. So I think part of him will pretend that he enjoys it deep down, thinking, oh, why have they been mean about it?
Was he crying himself to sleep?
Yeah.
I bet he hated seeing his number come up on the board.
Yeah.
I bet that was like, fucking hell. What? I've got to walk off here now.
Yeah.
All these people shouting at me.
And everybody, to a man, woman, child, like, right! Because you do.
Gosh,
because
you do.
it is pantomime.
Fuck off.
Go on, fuck off, get off, go on, fuck off. Judas bastard, go fuck off. Yeah, good.
Can I throw into the ring Michael Oliver as well?
Yeah.
If he hadn't have set the bar so low for those free kicks throughout the entire 90 minutes, maybe.
So what you're saying is neither goal would have been given?
Yeah, and we win 2-0 and everyone's real happy.
Yeah, I think, book your ideas up, Oliver.
Yeah, sort your shit out.
Right then, should we do the Gitana Berardi Hero of the Week? This is sponsored by the TukTukClub.com. Thank you to Bruce for sponsoring us again this year. You can get a discount with your booking with them. TSB15 for a 15% discount. And Bruce says they're getting a regular smattering of Leeds fans out there. And if you do go out there, you can just talk to Bruce about Leeds United and elephants.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's nothing better than being in pristine jungle surroundings, having some proper Thai food and talking about Brendan Aaronson.
Yeah, it's the only place you're going to see an elephant as well, because Ellie the elephant's AWOL. It has been for years now.
I know, I thought that might be the special announcement at the weekend.
The return of. Sadly not. So the TukTukClub.com, TSB15 for a discount on your booking. Who's your hero? Longstaff got to be in the running because he was our man of the match at the weekend. And he's handing out bollockins and taking leadership roles here.
He's exactly the kind of player I want in the middle midfield for Leeds United.
Likewise, Calvert-Lewin, as much as he missed a few chances, exactly the type of striker I wanted, just winning every header, being a real bastard, being quite sly about it all as well, which I enjoy. You can tell he's got a bit of a devil on his shoulder. And Goodmanson, exactly the type of left-back I want at left-back. I was watching the game back, realising just how many times he was just tackling players on their byline and setting up a few chances that way, as well as it was the Longstaff goal that started with that, didn't he? He's good. I like him.
I really like Goodmanson. We had a message. In fact, we had 2 messages in on a member show a couple of weeks ago where I think it was Bielsa Sai who messaged in saying how much he hated Goodmanson. And me and Chris and Rob were sat here going, what? I think he's brilliant. I think he's been great.
Weirdly hammered by the algorithm, though, we discovered on the match ball. I was just going to say, sorry to interrupt. I was going to say he got a 5.4 out of 10. And if you dive into his stats, he had a 75% pass accuracy. But if you're clearing the ball from defensive positions, does that class as a pass or is it a clearance?
Well,
I don't know.
And like Rob said a little while ago about the eye test of Jesse Marsh's Leeds United when we were shite versus the eye test of how Gabby Goodmanson's playing in the Premier League. Chalk and cheese.
I see what's happened here. So it's 57 touches, 4 in the opposition box, 0 out of 3 successful dribbles, accurate crosses, not out of 2, accurate long balls, 2 out of 4, dispossessed 4 times. So he's been hammered just for losing the ball. Again, ground duels won 7 out of 18, which is 39%. Aerial duels won none. So the algorithm is just punishing him for reasons.
Don't trust computers. Trust our members who gave him an 8.07. That was much
and that
closer.
actually it's the eye test versus what the data's showing you. So we're saying fuck data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And big up eyes.
Eyes
are the hero of the week.
Eyes of the future.
Yeah, and let's retrospectively crown data
as the villain.
And also a villain of the week. Yeah, so it is good stuff by Goodmanson, but I think even Calvert-Lewin missing the chances can't win the award. It probably has to be Longstaff for goal and assist and leadership on pitch.
Brilliant goal and brilliant assist. Like, I've never been. I can't remember a time I was at Ellen Road and was excited about us getting a corner. But after that header went in the first half, every time we got a corner, I was like, right, here we go.
Yep.
The best goals as well are always the ones that when they get replayed on the big screen, all the crowd at the same time goes, oh.
Yeah.
That was exactly that.
Have you watched The Bear on Disney Plus?
On
FX? There's a bit in that where Richie, one of the characters in that, he shows back up wearing suits one day and he says, I wear suits now. And it's like that with us with set pieces. We do set pieces now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we score them, we concede them. we do it all.
We've got balance.
Yeah, so the Gaetano Berardi Hero of the Week we will give to Sean Longstaff. Anything else to add then for this week? Or are we wrapping it up right there?
I think we should wrap it up. And I think we should send positive messages towards Willie Nonto. Please be fit so that
I thought you were going to say Normanton. I thought you were going to say Normanton there. Well, I bollocks to him. He's fine.
He's living the high life, lying in bed all day.
Completely forgotten about that chap.
He sat in his chair.
Yeah, I moved all of his shit down here though. So.
You actually tidied up, didn't you? You said it was.
I did.
It was a disgrace in that corner of the room.
I got in. I thought, if I'm going to be sat here,
I can't live like this
for a few shows in the next couple of weeks. I need to tidy.
Yeah.
So I did. Sorry, Michael.
No, don't apologise.
All right, he won't listen.
He should apologise to you if anything. I think, but yeah, he's doing fine with his recovery. I think a lot of it's probably just attention seeking at this point now.
He sent me a very sexy picture on Saturday before he's up of him in a little gown and some socks.
Mm.
So he's flirting from. I was going to say beyond the grave. He's not dead.
He's a ghost.
Flirting from beyond the grave. I did ask him if you know when you go under general anaesthetic. Obviously, when you wake up, you can be groggy and say some silly things. I did do a little bit of fanfic with him because I knew that it'd be in his little gown and possibly little Michael would be exposed as a result of this, whether he was offering the chance for the anaesthetist to see little Michael.
Right. But as Robbie Savage.
Well, what I would say is I put this to him and he didn't deny it.
Well, there you go.
So there you go. Shock revelation here to wrap up the show. What a sad end, really, in many ways.
Disturbing end.
Yeah. Disturbing little end.
Oh.
We'll see you soon.
The Square Ball Podcast.